Welcome to Belated Tech Gaming and our Sinking City walkthrough gameplay and travelogue. This is the third part of our walkthrough. In our second part, we explore Devil's Reef Hotel, which is Private Detective Charles Reed's new home base in Oakmont. From there, we attempted to enter Throgmorton's expedition headquarters, where we ran into wild beasts too tough to handle with too few supplies on hand. We've done some grinding off camera to collect supplies and boost Reed's stats, and are now ready to return to the expedition headquarters and try again. Let's rejoin Reed as he approaches the area. Many thanks for choosing to watch our content. Let's get started. So we had to do a bunch of grinding. There are a number of problems with this game that are not shared by games like Death Stranding or Red Dead Redemption 2. One is the resource problem. I think the intent is good. The game designers did intend for the resources to be tough to come by, in a matter of speaking, but it's made initial gameplay very, very, very difficult. I think they wanted you to explore the city, which we've done off camera to some extent, and picked up some supplies that we needed. But in any case, the difficulties involved hopefully will be alleviated slightly as we proceed. So last episode was meeting Throgmorton, finding his son had been killed, and him sending us off to find out what happened to the expedition, which his son was part of. Right now we're trying to figure out how to get to the expedition headquarters without going into one of the infested areas. The infested areas are, you do not want to go to early in the game. Early in the game, you're equipped with a 1911 pistol that's been chambered for, there's going to be a way to get around this, chambered for 38 cartridges instead of 45, which makes it even less useful. I think you can get around this way, yeah. And the other one is a pistol. The pistol has heavier magnum rounds or something along those lines and allows you to have a better chance against the monsters. The monsters in the game are very tough. Very, very tough. I cannot possibly overstate how tough they are. Really, the early character, the game wants you basically not to fight early, but the problem is that all the combat is undertaken at the investigation sites. Basically, you cannot investigate anything without combat, so it's kind of contradictory. In any case, so we got as many cartridges as we could for the guns we have. We found a few hard lessons. Certain NPCs will fire on you for really no good reason, and if you fire in the vicinity of police officers, they will fire on you. And also something we found out is that you do not want to fire on a cop, because, at least not at this level of the game. We did that because they were firing at us, and all it did was essentially kills the character, but it causes them to have hallucinatory episode, and drops your health to 0, and it's obviously not the way to go. So generally avoid shooting the police officers. Unlike, this is not Red Dead Redemption, obviously. So now we're about to investigate the headquarters. Now, we've been in here a few times. In fact, we'll save already off camera. One thing we found is, like I said, the investigation sites involve, needing a lot of ammunition. A lot. Very tanky, very, very tanky. Trying to concentrate. Very tanky enemies. This particular headquarters site does have beasts in it. Can't remember if I found them upstairs or downstairs. let's contend with them first and see if we can't... There's obviously something floating in here that's not so good. Oh, eels. The eels, you cannot swim in the water in this game. The eels pretty much will take you out. They will kill you. So the game does not want you to swim in the water. I've seen some walkthroughs where later they do swim through the water, and there's a number of creatures that definitely make life definitely difficult in the water. So. Okay, I could have swore last time I was in here I encountered some beasties. So, maybe I was wrong. Let's try it again. I'm holding the... Yeah, I can hear the sound. Nothing's spawning. That's weird. Okay. Alright, let's do some investigating.
Someone smashed it beyond repair.
I don't know what it is. Oh, it looks like a phonograph player, maybe? It's hard to say.
Are a few damp papers all that's left of the expedition?
So you're supposed to hit the, I forget what they call it, concentration button or something along those lines. Oop. So fortunately it was armed. Yeah, some of the creatures are phantasmic. They just generate at will. Kind of, some are corporal, so it's really hard to tell what you're going to get. If you leave some locations and come back, they regenerate. Oh yes. The 3-stripe symbol here is supplies, and trust me, you get supplies anytime you can.
Can't say I ever saw another shell like it.
So this is an investigative-rich environment. Current data, places with paranormal activity have a strong precinct. Okay. Let's try the next one. Anything here? No? Yeah, so you leave it at a location and come back to it. Some of the creatures respawn, which is really annoying because the ammunition in this game is super, super scarce. In fact, you basically have to... It's the crafting system in this game is absolutely necessary. You have to basically craft everything.
These samples glitter in a weird way. I wonder where they came from.
Large bubbles. For those of you who are familiar with H.P. Lovecraft lore, you probably are less
Map of Cape
surprised
Cod.
than certainly I am.
It looks like there was something here, but it's been erased.
Oakmont is on the coast of Massachusetts. They don't say
Map
where
of Cape Cod.
Massachusetts it is.
It looks like there was something here, but it's been erased.
So we've been over to see the university. There's nothing there. This game wants you to travel on a somewhat linear path. You have to visit sites in the order it wants you to. So there's no getting ahead of it. And that's typical. I'm not certainly not complaining about that. It's just kind of interesting. Yeah. All right. Okay, we've already opened that. Let's see. Okay. Let's go down to the first floor. Once you've investigated the site fully, you will get an icon that says you investigated the site completely. So there's key evidence, and then there is all evidence, the two different kinds. Yeah, vents. Okay, we already looked at that. We looked at that.
Are a few damp papers all that's left of the expedition?
Oh, this. Yeah, that's right. We already did this. Okay. I'm just trying to be thorough here. The ringing sound means you have to use your mind's eye. That's what it's called, mind's eye. Take it. Gunpowder alcohol. So, shell cases and gunpowder is what makes up rounds. Money in the game is bullets. So, you always should fabricate as many as you possibly can. Now, this door had a footprint on it, so let's look at that too.
Guess I don't need the key.
He was given the key by Throgmorton. Obviously not necessary. Let's see, make sure we didn't miss anything up here. I came in expecting to be assaulted. That's what happened last time we were in here. We got killed 2 or 3 times by beasties, and then I decided we had to grind a little bit in order to get some supplies, which we've done. I can't remember if I went to the basement and got cut up or not, so let's find out. So the beasts do spawn. Sometimes they're already corporal, and sometimes they spawn out of the ground. What's this guy doing? Yeah, the reload time on your guns are... I don't know if you're supposed to shoot this guy or not. I guess we'll find out. I didn't get a talk symbol. If you shoot a character you're not supposed to, like the police officers, for example, you do... the game basically kills me. So, I guess it was okay. Weird. Alright. I was expecting another monster in here, but I didn't get one. Three stripes with supplies. Okay. What's this?
Guess this helmet's beyond repair.
It's been cracked in the front. So that's an Innsmouther. The Innsmouthers have a fish appearance. The Throgmortons have an ape appearance. I don't know if there's another analog. The Throgmortons are city denizens, long time coming, and then the Innsmouthers come from Innsmouth, which was destroyed in a prequel, which I think is actually covered by a different game developer. Let's see. So we have not discovered enough evidence yet to trigger the investigation. Once you discover the sufficient investigation, you do get the mind's eye cloud and ringing sound. So we haven't found it yet. So we still looking for something apparently important. The game definitely can be frustrating when you're trying to find stuff, for sure. Oh, here it is. I went right by it. Following must be deliverable to Grimhaven Bay, no later than Friday. Diving suits, air tanks, blah 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 blah. Research agreement. So it's a manifest for the expedition, assumably. All right, so that triggered the Mine Palace clue that we needed. So let's go find what we're looking for. Must be upstairs. Here we go. So you step right through it, and then it recreates the investigate.
Grab the papers, smash the rest.
So that's the sound of Innsmouthers. Some Innsmouthers are not less fishy, more fishy. So they're trying to grab the papers and then trying to create some sort of distraction.
We don't have time to pick it. Stand back.
Okay, so they came in.
I fatah me fe I regach I dagon.
So I guess they were one of them manifested that false door that we broke through.
Burn it all. Make sure you get the adverts.
Time to figure this out.
Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. So let's get to the door first. That obviously was the beginning.
We don't have time to pick it. Stand back.
And there's
Grab the papers, smash the rest.
they were smashing the piss out of everything. I think this is last. No, it's not last. Okay.
I fatah me fe I regach I
Burn it all. Make sure you get the adverts.
Several men broke into the expedition
so that was it.
headquarters. What they didn't smash, they burned. The archives, even the newspapers.
Yeah, often when you get the key evidence, you have a hallucination, which I haven't quite cadged onto yet. So that's what you're looking for. All evidence has been collected. And when you look at the map, you get the green symbol. If it's critical evidence collected, you get the yellow symbol, which is fine too. But since you might as well collect as much as you can. Can't remember if you get experience points for or not. Experience points are super important here because the ability points are really, really improve the character's combat ability. Okay, so we're going to have to go to the Mine Palace. So, Mine Palace is just your investigative journal, sort of like moving pieces of paper around to try to figure out to orient. Manifest, burn documents. Take him to the Grimhaven Bay Pier. Okay, go to the newspaper. Deductions. Okay. So, there's still something open. So the Mine Palace isn't complete until you continue in the main case here. So you have to go to the Oakmont Chronicle. Okay. That should involve, hopefully, no combat. There's been a lot of combat so far, and very little investigating. This is the most investigating I've done so far in this particular game. And had to do a lot of off-camera combat. Yeah. Set of those anthropologists. Okay. So the anthropologist showed up out of nowhere and helped on the expedition in some fashion. The bestiary is kind of interesting. it describes the different monsters. This one they call the Stygian Harvester. Very tough to fight because it jumps around. This one is the what do they call this thing? Lethians. They vomit bacteria at you, and you can only take a few hits before they kill you. Very tough, and they're very tanky. This one, Caucidians, they take a lot of damage, and this one is the Acheronians. Off camera, while we were grinding, we took down one Acheronian with a series of hand grenades and a lot of rounds. They're very tough, and but during gameplay, the only thing you have to tackle are these. And I think we took out one, something like this one. A creature, the ethereal creature we took out to open the door, I believe, was something like that. So, in any case, let's go and carry on to the next location. Let's try to save as much as possible. When I first started the game, let's see, Oakmont, right. When I first started the game, it was raining constantly, and I did notice that it started raining less when I did a side mission to bulk up on some supplies, to get supplies and to kind of try to improve the character. I went to see a doctor here at the Hospital St. Mary. I think it's Dr. Grant or something like that. Grant sent me on a couple of side missions to... Let me pop out here. Whoops. Out here, we are in a couple places over here, a couple places over here, and a couple places over in Salvation Harbor. And then, you know, we were rewarded with supplies and some more information and some points that we needed for skills. So in the skills map, this is sort of normal for combat-oriented games. There's a combat proficiency, a vigor, and a mind. Combat proficiency kind of stands, it's obvious. You have a trap feature, you have a gun feature. There's a submachine gun and a shotgun. The shotgun, from what I've read online, is awarded as part of the main mission play. You can't get it just by stumbling across it. And the same thing for the machine gun, so you just kind of fight through the main combat. Vigor is about how much stuff you can carry and what's your resilience to damage. And then mind is it looks like you have capacity, yeah, and then how fast you earn experience. The experience thing is important, but I'm not going to waste certainly knowledge points on it early. We did pick up the ability to hold more inventory. I thought that was pretty important, so I applied 1 point there. And then increasing the capacity of weapons, that was another 2 points. And traps, we have used traps. They haven't shown to be quite useful yet. I'm sure they'll come into play at some point. Anyway, so that was what we did off camera between the beginning episode and this episode. In any case, so we have to go to the newspaper, which isn't that far. It's right here. So we'll just go down Freedom Avenue, which is facing, okay, it's got to go right. As I was saying, it rained all the time initially, and now it is occasionally sunny when you're walking around the city. The city is fascinating. It's a beautiful environment that was developed. It does have cars and trucks, and you can see trolleys here and all kinds of stuff. None of it's operating, not one. I think they could have probably improved the gameplay a little bit by having some operating vehicles. They chose not to do that. I have a suspicion that it just saved on development. There are features. It's clear that the environments are lovingly crafted, but some of the fill is just not particularly interesting. Like, NPCs don't react She won't say a word. This guy's kind of interesting. They won't say anything. There are vendors in the street who will say things to you, but you can't interact with them. Most of the buildings you can't enter into. There is some duplication. If I pull out a gun here and I fire at the officer, they will fire me. So there's some limited NPC interaction, but nothing particularly super interesting. Whoops, going down the wrong way. I just wanted to show you the trolleys. Anyway, supposedly some of the cars are lootable in the trunks, the boot, if you will. I haven't yet to find one that is lootable. So, I don't know where you find those, but keep going. Some parts of the city look like this, you know, kind of a little bit run down, a lot of, you know, 4-story tenements. Others are what you would expect to see in a city, you know, beautifully rendered downtown areas. And then the outskirts are kind of these crap holes that are not patrolled by cops. The cops only patrol, it appears, the paved areas. I could be wrong about that, but that's how it seems. I've actually walked by here once. But since the mission didn't call for it, I didn't go in. So let's go in. Presumably there'll be no monsters in here. But of course
The
I've
old
been
papers are
fooled
by the
before.
door. Take them and stop bothering me already.
I think you've got me confused with someone else.
Aren't you a newcomer?
Yeah, I guess I am a newcomer. Charles Reed, private investigator. And I also need your old newspapers, the archive, to be exact.
Ah, so you're the one who cracked the Albert Throgmorton murder case. Nice work. I'm Helen Bland. Say, can you do me a favor? Give me an exclusive interview. You won't regret it. The Oakmont Chronicle is the best newspaper for miles around.
All right,
The only newspaper,
I'll
probably.
be sure to make some time for you, Miss Bland. Do you still want that interview?
Okay.
I got some time now, if you're ready.
Oh, absolutely.
What else are we
We
doing?
know that you're the private eye who solved the case, but tell our reader something more about yourself.
Let's try this
I'm a
one.
private eye in Boston. The situation in the port was a good use of my skills.
Well, Detective Reed, I think you'll find our city has a lot of secrets, but people may not like you poking your nose in. Maybe we'll have the chance to work together later. Who knows? And now the big question. Why are you here? What brought you to Oakmont?
Currently, I'm tracking down the source of the psychic phenomenon that's been causing madness and visions all across the country.
Ah, yes. It affected people here, but we were much more concerned with the flood. Though Robert Throgmorton sent an expedition.
Yeah, and then hired me to find it. Ironic, don't you think?
I think that's enough for now. I can't give the readers too much all at once. Thank you for your interview, Mr. Reed.
My pleasure. Maybe I'll do something interesting enough to make the papers again. You never know.
Okay.
See you later.
So you did.
Stay safe.
Okay, so she's not going to do anything. All right, so you can go read the art. Let's go to the archive. This is very similar. There's an archive in there's an archive in the hospital as well. It's very hard to use. Next one in contact. Period. Burned newspapers. That's what I want. And then, period. After the flood. I don't care about that stuff. Officials. Celebrities. Try that. And Try it. Search. Yeah, see, it's very let's try that one. There we go. 30-ton ship to Titania is available for hire. Fully equipped, blah, 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 blah. For a price of 70 rifle bullets, the equipment. Those interested are urged to contact. Pier 3, Oakmont Port, Grimhaven Bay. Okay. Choose evidence. Okay. It's not really clear. The game does not let on to what's important and what's not important. Let's do investigate a little fast here. See if there's any resources. Typing going on here. Yeah, that's cool. Oh. Wait. Nice. Always pays the look. The 4440 cartridges, I think, are for the pistol. I think that's what it fires. This is an active building in use, obviously, so there's several NPCs here, which is unusual. It's so far the most NPCs I've seen in any of the buildings actively at work without the, all the buildings are moldering and watery and abandoned and, not particularly interesting. But this one's a little more interesting than the other ones have been. Oh, there's another one. Another floor. Let's keep on going. This one's empty. Oh, printing presses? Yeah, these are presses. Okay. Used to have acquaintances who were involved in the printing press business. That's fascinating, really. Kind of a dying art because of the digitization of media. Obviously, things are still printed, but not so much with offset presses, I guess. I mean, I assume most of them are digital these days. I could be wrong. I've been kind of out of that area for a while. Oh, here's the one. There we go. Shell casings. Okay, so when you come to the newspaper, it always pays a look to see if they have any supplies. The cases do respawn loot, so when there's something that happens that causes the game to reset, I get a typing notice now. Nice. Like I said, that's the most I've gotten out of this game in quite some time. What'd she do? Oh, she walked off. No, that's her. I don't think I walked behind her, did I? I don't see anything. No. Where do they get their newsprint from? That city's cut off. I guess you're not supposed to ask these questions. Alright, so Pier 3 and Oakmont Port, so let's take a look. Casebook. Okay. 70 rifle bullets. That's a lot of rifle bullets. We can't even carry that many. Let's look at the map. Now, one thing the map does do is convenient. It does keep track of the amount of the points you're supposed to. Yeah, that's what we want. Pier 3 and Oakmont Port. Pier 3. Okay. I can't remember if we came over in the Titania or not. Maybe we did. So we can fast travel there. Where are we here? Yeah. So here's a fast travel point, so let's go do that. It's not raining. Yes, that's where we want to go. So a lot of these cars are disintegrating. Now, supposedly the flood's only been in play for about 6 months, but it looks like it's been 6 years the way that the city is completely falling apart. I read a line somewhere that it's supposed to simulate Boston, Oakmont. Right next to the telephone booth. There it is. So fast travel is the way to go here. The only complaint I would have is that reboot time's super slow. I mean, it's just crazy slow. Not very fast at all. Alright, let's take a break here.